Now, before we get started on the review, let's take a little history lesson back to the very recent past. Now, as many of you can recall, back in March of 2003, Operation Iraqi Freedom began. This came after former President Bush's State of the Union address in January of that year, talking about the beginnings of nuclear facilities being built in Iraq for the production of nuclear weapons. So this was what prompted us, or at least the nation, to go to war in Iraq. Not too long after that, a man by the name of Joseph C. Wilson IV, who was an ambassador for the United States, wrote an article that was titled "What I Didn't Find in Africa." And in that article, he talked a lot about the misrepresentations and the incorrect intelligence that was being put forth by President Bush and his officials. So the Bush administration had a lot of incorrect findings and all that jazz. And the White House officials were not too happy about that. Not too happy. So they decided to get back at him in a vicious way. They went after his wife and leaked out to many media outlets that Ambassador Wilson's wife, Valerie Palm Wilson, was a covert CIA agent working for the U.S. government. Now you may think, what's the big deal about that? Well, her identity as a covert agent was kept secret because she had a lot of missions that involved a lot of covert operations globally. She didn't even tell her neighbors, none of that. And now it's leaked and everybody knows. It's leaked to media outlets and all that stuff. This led to what was called the Palm Affair, I believe, where they decided to sue the government back for and take the government to court, especially those officials in the White House that caused them all this grief. So that's just the gist of everything. They're still continuing to fight it today, even under the Obama administration. So far, no luck, but at least it's a battle they're still fighting. They're still fighting. Now, you may ask, well, what does this have to do with the movie? Both Ambassador Wilson and Valerie Palm Wilson wrote books. Now, Valerie's book is called Fair Game: My Life as a Spy, My Betrayal by the White House. I can't remember exactly what the name of the book is that Ambassador Wilson wrote, but it also shared a lot of the emotions and facts that they dealt with during their time fighting with the White House, during their continuing time to fight with the White House. And so a movie was made that was based on both books to get at least each side of their story. And it came out recently, November 5th, so earlier this month. I got to see it a couple of weeks before the release, because it was as part of the International Film Festival sneak peek. So, big blockbuster film sneak peek at the film festival. Now, the movie stars Naomi Watts, who is an actress I love in many ways. She's gorgeous. She is a great actress, great stage, film presence. Though she's been doing a few too many remakes. I think that's how she got her name, Queen of the Remakes now. So yeah, that's generally the summary of the movie, what you just heard. And I do want you to take a look at the trailer. It's posted down there in the box, so check it out. And actually, check it out before you get to see my thoughts, to see if it's a movie you would like to see first. And then I'll then come back over here and I'll tell you my thoughts. You can go check the trailer now. I'll be back when you get here. Okay, welcome back. So, I'm gonna start off by saying I never read any of the books, so I don't know how accurate the story is or whatnot. They did have Valerie Wilson be one of the people that helped with the movie, bring her insight on a lot of the CIA things to make it more legitimate. But getting to the actual movie itself, if you were to take away, first of all the reality of the movie and just focus on the story itself, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I had not heard anything about it beforehand. When I picked this movie out, I just saw Naomi Watts on it and decided to watch the movie. I mean, I got a little bit of summary from the little blurb they had in the catalog, but other than that, I just went into the movie blind. Now, the story is pretty good. Now, the pacing of the movie was touch and go at times. Sometimes it would be fast paced, building, and then bring you to a quick halt. But what I liked is you got to see both Valerie's and Joseph's personas dealing with what was happening to them. And it's very interesting to see how they had to look at it and deal with all this controversy. They had the husband, Joseph, really want to fight back, always trying to go to every media outlet to talk back to the government, was not afraid. Valerie didn't want to make anything worse. And as the movie progressed, it started to pick up, especially near the end. What was nice also is they used some footage and some audio from the real events that were happening at the time to bring a little more realism into it, to remind you that this is based on a true story. This is something that actually happened. And it was nice to see, especially if you stay for the credits, you get to see at least the beginning of the trial. When Valerie finally decides to go to court with all this. Other than that, I don't agree with a lot of people online that say this is an action movie, because I don't think it is. I think it's a suspense movie and a drama. There's no real action in the movie. Not that much anyway, to merit that kind of calling. I'm gonna give this movie actually a solid... I'll give it a solid B minus. Only because, again, like I said, the pacing kind of, it would draw you in and then it stopped you. Um, but I really did enjoy the movie. It was interesting to see. Um, some piece of information I learned. I mean, I may have heard about this whole situation back when it actually happened back in 2003 when it all began, but I do not remember or recall remembering particularly what happened. All I know is at that time I was with everybody else going, what the heck is Bush doing? But hey, past is past. We gotta deal with what's happening now. So um I wish this could have been a little more interesting, a little more fun review, but it's late at night right now. Plus this this movie was a little different from some of the others because of the fact that it's based on a true story, true happening that just happened recently, and it's still ongoing. So, do check it out. Some of the things I will really want you to look up if you're really interested in this. Look up the article if you can find it online. What I Didn't Find in Africa by Ambassador Joseph C. Wilson IV. Look up also the Intelligence Identities Protection Act of 1982, which actually states that it is illegal to reveal the identities of operatives who are working certain covert roles for the U.S. Intelligence Agency. Look up the book Fair Game, My Life as a Spy, My Betrayal by the White House. And do check out this movie. I actually would recommend this, especially if you're into thrillers and suspense and types of dramas like this, and especially if you are really interested in history, especially recent history. This would be a good movie for you to watch. May not be entirely accurate, but it's still a piece of history itself. Well, that'll be all for this class session. Do look forward to the next film I'm going to bring up, which is actually the, I believe, looking at it now, I'm doing this on the fly. Yes, the next movie is the surprise movie I saw at the International Film Festival this year, where the tickets were free as long as you weren't wearing merchandise and you showed up early enough to get a ticket. And it was a movie that we did not know about until the actual movie started. They wouldn't tell us at all, and as a matter of fact, to show how big of a deal this surprise movie was, unlike the other movies I saw at the International Film Festival, they had to check our bags. So hopefully this caught your interest to see my next review and find out what the surprise movie was. And I'll tell you right now, it is a movie that is coming out within the next couple months, actually. So stay tuned, and class dismissed.